Zero, like almost no Super Cub time.
Well, you're talking to a guy with 0 Super Cub time. So,
but I've flown a couple Super Cubs down here. I've flown Carbon Cubs, Legend Cubs, Cwicki's Cub. You know, again, being a Piper model, it does really well. I've been impressed. Inherently, they're heavier than all the new experimentals.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And looks like Cwicki's got 35-inch Alaskan bush wheels on.
Yep. And his is actually the agricultural version of that thing. So the whole belly of the plane is aluminum, so you can take it off.
Oh.
And the upper part, like where the turtle deck would normally be, is flat, because it allowed for you to put hoppers in and do whatever else would be needed to put spray apparatuses on for spraying.
For spraying.
Super Cub.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Looks ready for action with Steph Blanchard flying.
She's an Alaskan native.
That's right. Tail.dragger, I believe is her Instagram handle. Alaskan native Soldovia.
Yep. She's got the main bar, maybe the only bar.
Yeah.
Restaurant in Soldovia.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go look her up.
And she's I believe she's CFI, all the, you know, she is a commercial pilot. She's very well decorated.
Always looking for adventures in the backcountry.
Way more qualified than me.
And me.
It doesn't take much of me.
At
least you flew some, you know, very cool planes.
Well, I did fly fighters for 20 plus years, but I tell you, there's a mentality that, and that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night. I don't want to spoil it too much in the talk I'm going to give here, but the shared spirit of fighter pilots and bush pilots. There's a lot of similar, aggressive, and, you know, good at assessing risks, but as far as the stick and rudder skills, you know, we're pretty used to flying with rudder behind the backside of the power curve, but that's about it.
Gotcha.
We've got enough thrust to get us out of scenarios that you don't want to be in. But this is a scenario that Steph has put her in on by choice to do a STOL competition in the bush class here down in Trevelin, hosted by Cwicki and the Patagonia Bush Pilots.
And I'm really loving that they have a live stream from inside the cockpit.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to a lot of the STOL events in the States.
Yeah.
And I've not seen
I mean, they've
yet.
got live from the drone, they've got live from the cockpit. Here she's revving it up. Here she goes. Steph Blanchard off in Cwicki's Super Cub. Little early of a rotation. Yeah. Okay, can I change my bet on the... No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. It looks like a little bit heavier of an aircraft.
It's much heavier, and you know, it's a stock 320, so
you're
going to be 150 horse, I believe. You know, and it's living in the certified world, and it's always harder to...
About 100 meters, but still very respectable.
Yep, and she can cut some off that. I think
so.
the next time, if she doesn't rotate so early, she killed a lot of her thrust by dropping the tail.
Adding that induced drag. So,
there's definitely, you know, a balance of how high do you lift your tail? Do you lift your tail?
Timing of when to.
Because when you do lift your tail, you're always going to be dealing with the timing of rotation. And you either, if you rotate too early, then you're going to drive like she did, too far down the runway. And if you rotate too late, you gave up space. So a lot of times, some people may find it's better just to leave your tail low. Lift it off the ground, but just a couple inches and wait for the plane to...
And you get there with repetition and practice, and she's flown this plane a handful of times.
I think her first flight was yesterday.
Right, so that's
this
pretty
is
amazing.
Probably her third takeoff in that plane.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
So she's now on about midfield downwind, working her way around. We're channeling our inner Sky fam with Corey Dombrowski and Corey Robin over here, Steve Cox and Trent Palmer. Thanks to Cwicki for hosting us and letting us commentate today. This is fun. So there she is, beautiful white Cub on downwind with big old Alaskan bush wheels.
I will say the silhouette of a Super Cub on big tires is iconic.
Just
it
beautiful.
Is the best. Yeah.
Turning base, setting herself up, managing her energy, getting herself configured. A little bit of burbles. Nice gentle turn, base to final.
We are getting some thermic activity out
Definitely,
here.
and she's crossing a river right now, and then a grapevine, or a vineyard, I should say.
Yep, so you're going to deal with natural ground-based updrafts and downdrafts. Then,
Yep, just the natural colors heat differently, right?
Yep, all convective.
Yep. All right, dropping it in. There she goes. Getting her aiming point.
A little fast, but I think she made it past the line.
Yeah.
Those brakes were great on that plane.
That's locked it up right at the end.
Right at like 81 meters, which is not bad.
So that would be a total of roughly 180-ish, 185-ish total, if I'm doing my math right. And
she's going to have to cut a bit off of that to catch up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Turning around, getting set up for her flight number 2. What do you call it? Your attempt number 2? Your run 2?
Run 2.
Run 2? Yeah.
I don't actually know. Are you taking a run, a lap?
A lap.
Attempt.
We are thankful for the shade of this, what is it, 150?
It is. This is what Patagonia Bush Pilot started with.
This
sitting behind us.
150.
Yep.
And it's providing us much needed shade in this beautiful, beautiful day. There's a few clouds distant, just cirrus clouds, but nothing to speak of. It's just beautiful, clear skies. We're looking at the Andes Mountains still dotted with snow. We got the lush, dark green evergreens, and then the tan of the, it's just beautiful. All right, here's Steph Blanchard again in run 2.
Now don't rotate too early.
Just a hair early again.
That was better.
But she got off a little bit earlier. I'm looking
was
about
off
85,
90?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they seem like they're standing there.
KK's pointing at about 75.
KK's like, go. My plane takes off shorter than that. She also, I did notice, she was not pulling flaps on rotation. I think she could cut some of that ground roll down.
Okay.
If she was, because she's only taken off at the first click of flaps. I think there's 3 in there. So quarter, half full. But that, I don't know what it is, but it can definitely benefit you to take off with more flaps in a Cub.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't go into an immediate heavy climb with
just
full flaps,
just
but it'll
slowly
pop you off
release
the
and ground effect. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we were there. So 80.
Oh, there we go. Total meters 171.
And I keep forgetting she's originally from Chile.
Yep, she is from Chile, born to an American father, and moved to I can't remember where she said originally, but now resides in the great state of Alaska. Lives down on the Kenai Peninsula, Soldovia. So you know she's got some chops, that's for sure, flying in Alaska. Much respect to those folks.
This Cub may be new to her, but she is not new to Cubs.
That's right.
That is for sure.
So you're, speaking of new to Cubs, you're new to Cubs. You're about to...
I'm very new, and I
I
am diving headfirst into the Cub
that's
world.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm now getting to taste a little bit more. Like I mentioned, I've flown some Legend Cubs, I've flown some Carbon Cubs now, a couple actual PA-18s, and they're fun. I see why people love them, but I'm excited to get to where I wear that plane like I did my old plane.
Sure.
Right now I'm still flying it, and it takes me a second to think of what I'm doing instead of just doing.
How many flights have you had out in Texas there?
Quite a few, but I would bet I'm at 6 or 7 hours, maybe a little more.
Okay.
Not a ton.
Well, that'll be... Here goes Steph.
Oh, that's a scratch.
That's a scratch. Okay.
Yeah, the gusty wind is just making this a lot harder for people. That, in addition to the fact that...
I think she kind of gave up on it at the end there.
Oh, yeah.
She knew she scratched, so she didn't give it the full... didn't heat up the brakes for the next folks who are going to kind of hot swap. And
looks like we got Tobias coming up.
Tobias.
Yep.
He's originally
Tobias.
from Switzerland, but lives in San Diego, and actually flew this Cub all the way down here from San Diego, California to Patagonia.
He should win the prize for the longest time traveled, because all of us travel a long ways, but he did it at 100 miles an hour.
100 miles an hour. And didn't even go direct.
Hours.
He went to the Caribbean, I mean, that's a pretty amazing story. He's got fuel bladder in the belly pod, and he can just fuel that up directly. Do you know much about that? Can he fuel his engine
there'll
direct?
be a boost pump that fills one of the wings, and he already has the extended wing tank. So he's got 44 gallons in the wings and another 30 gallons in the belly. So he can carry 74 gallons of fuel, which gives him 10 hours of range.
Well, that's pretty nice when you're flying over the Amazon rainforest of Brazil.
Yes,
down here.
and he did say that that was the most technical and difficult part of his flight down here, was through the Amazons.
All right, Tobias, off and running in his Carbon Cub. Off nice. About
60.
About 60.
Yep.
Just over 60. They're walking. Let's see where the measurement is. That was well done.
I guess it was closer to 65.
That's a man who knows his aircraft.
Yes. And he does have
Beautiful.
kind of a combo prop. It's more cruisy than it's definitely not a competition prop, and it's definitely not a full takeoff prop.
Okay, so is it ground adjustable?
Nope, it's a fixed pitch Kato.
Oh, okay.
But it's a hybrid. It's not a full takeoff, and it's not a full cruise.
Okay.
So whereas I would, if I was a betting man, I'm betting Bob has more of a takeoff prop because he prioritizes that.
Okay.
And Bob didn't fly his down here. He put it in a shipping container.
That's right. So he's probably pitched more for cruise, given that big, long journey that we were talking about, Tobias. So I'd be curious to see what angle of attack he's running, or angle of the prop, because
I want to say it was an 80-50.
80-50?
Is what I think he said it was.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it. But it's a beautiful build. He built this himself. It took him 2,500 hours. He took his time, because I've seen Carbon Cub guys put 600 hours.
Here comes Tobias in his beautiful orange and white Carbon Cub. The wig wags. Well, one of them's wigging.
He's got a wig.
There's the wig wag.
Now it's wig and wag.
All right, here he is, setting it up into the
and
throttle, and sets it down. Looks good. Oh, it was scratch?
It was, I believe.
Okay, it's hard to see from this vantage point.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, it looks like he's not in on the brakes fully, so I think he's given up on that.
Yeah.
That run. Yeah. All right, so he's gotta hit this next one. So Trent, do you know, does that negate his takeoff as well, or can his first takeoff and second landing? I think that's
no.
It has to be on the same
combo. So
okay.
he gets a DQ for that round.
I see.
And it is, what one thing I think people don't consider with this is that we've been sitting around all day, and so have these pilots.
Sure.
So that's his first takeoff and landing of the entire day.
Oh, right. He didn't get to warm up.
So that is your warm up, your first lap.
Okay.
If they gave us practice right before this, but obviously at these events, it's really hard to find the time to get everyone out and let them practice. So everyone gets the same level playing field. It's your first takeoff, and your second takeoff, and your first landing.
And here he goes, Tobias, into the throttle, Carbon Cub. Oh, and he rejected the takeoff. Sounds like an engine issue.
It sounded like he might have ran out of gas.
Yeah. He's
I will
dead
tell you,
sticked.
as someone that had that happen yesterday, it's not a fun feeling, but it's good that it happened here.
Absolutely.
And not 30 seconds down.
Yep. Oh, that would be a tough place. Having flown the circuit a few times, I think there's a pretty decent river. I mean, are there any places to put it if you can't turn around?
There's power lines at the end.
Oof, okay.
Yeah, 2 sets of power lines and a couple buildings.
Okay.
It's not pretty until you get up to crosswind or downwind.
Okay, then you have
obviously
more options.
he's fired back up and running.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
I wonder if he's going to get...
That's what I'm wondering. Are they going to let him go again? Does he want to go again?
Right. Like, that's the question. Is it safe to go again? Is he diagnosed? Is it just a fuel issue? I mean, you got to think with him with that much experience, he knows his airplane and fuel. So
yes,
I'd be kind of surprised if he does it again. But we're hoping for him, and glad he made the right decision, obviously, to reject the takeoff.
No, it looks like we got John Cwicki. John, I'm sorry.
John Cwicki.
I've been hanging out with him all weekend, and I can't pronounce his last name. Fly 8 Mike Alpha on the socials. He's a flight instructor from up in Alaska. Has an awesome property that he's bought a whole bunch of old airliners and converted them into Airbnbs.
Right. Up, let's see, north of Anchorage, near Palmer. I can't remember the exact name of the town that he's in, but in the Palmer, Wasilla area. Big Lake, that's what it is.
Big Lake.
Up in Big Lake.
Windy area around there, he claims.
Oh, wow. He claims that. Okay.
So the wind will be howling everywhere else, and it's nice where he's at.
Well, my first assignment in the F-15 was up in Elmendorf Air Force Base, so I've got good memories of the Kinnick arm up there, the Turnagain arm, and the Anchorage area is just an awesome place to live. And so he's down here, came a long way down to Patagonia.
And much like Steph, he's flying KK's plane,
right,
and has very little time in it, and obviously zero practice.
Well, it'll be interesting because we're getting multiple pilots in the same aircraft. So that's you don't get to see that a lot. So this is kind of fun.
And it is cool because then it's just pilot skill. Obviously, KK is going to have an advantage.
With another variable, because I'm feeling a little bit more wind. Actually, there's a little bit more headwind, so that's going to give a little bit of an advantage here. See, look, he's already got the tail up. John Cwicki really working on getting that aircraft level, minimizing the drag, and there he goes. That was short. Oh, he almost came back down. Is he coming back down? Oh, I don't know. Did he touch back down?
I wasn't able to see. But I think that was in the 40s.
That was very short.
45, 43. That was the shortest takeoff of the day.
That was pretty impressive.
He just took off short of
Nice
the
job,
cut.
John. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Very impressive. He's up there screwing around with trim, getting it all
Yep, there you
set
can
up.
see his socials, Fly 8 Mike Alpha.
There's some branding right there.
There you go.
Right?
He knows.
John knows what he's doing on all fronts here.
That's right. All right, let's see if he can have a clean landing.
And 43.
43, yeah, that's
that was short.
For this class, that is, we believe, the shortest.
That was impressive.
Look at that profile view. Beautiful.
Oh,
Look at it.
Nope.
I get alerts
I'm
from
in
my
flip-flops.
mountain saying, hey, the summit's open. We're getting dumped on. Well, that's okay. We'll go back to that. But for now, we're enjoying some beautiful STOL competition in Patagonia. John Cwicki, Fly 8 Mike Alpha. He's in Cwicki's Super Cub, base to final.
He looks a little high. We're going to see if he's going to kill some...
Got about 4 or 5 knots of headwind, which I think is more than Steph had.
He's got the best conditions of this class.
I think so, so far.
Yes.
A little bit of swirly winds right around there, over the vineyard and river. And then short final, it should stabilize.
Very
beautiful
nice and
shot.
stable.
Look at that shot.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
And see how he's coming in slightly tail low, not hanging on the prop, not behind the power curve too much, but stable. That is
just gently on the rudder pedals. Just gently on the rudder pedals. And he was close. I think if he made that, he's trying for it. He's trying for it. Scratch and claw. Those Alaskan bush wheels got him stopped just shy of the 80-meter mark. So about 77, 78 meters.
Wow.
Plus 40 something. Oh man, he's got a good run going here.
Yes.
And you know what? That's only his first run, so he's probably only going to improve. Although I don't know if he can improve on that takeoff very much.
I don't know that he can improve on the landing. It looked to me from here that he was on the line, and if they counted it, which they were measuring,
right, I'm excited. So we should be able to see it on the because we're seeing it live, just like you folks. We don't have any sort of information other than what we see on the screen here.
Yeah.
So waiting on the official results.
77, 120.
Okay, so 43.1 on the takeoff, 77.5 on the landing, 120.6.
I think he could improve. It felt like he could brake harder on the landing.
Is that right?
It did.
Okay.
That said, I've flown that Cub. The brakes are really good, and it does have a pitching moment with the 35s when you touch down, so it's a little scary to get on the brakes too hard.
Ah, I see.
So, being that it's not his Cub, he's not super experienced in it.
Right. He's not going to max perform.
No, he's probably not going to push it as hard as, say, maybe KK will.
Yeah. So far, so good, though. Is it me, or does the right tire look a little lower than the left?
It does look lower.
Just look a little bit lower from this angle, at least.
Helps with P factor, man.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh, Captain Dillon, you got a little gust as well.
Oh, lucky. Got a little gust, and he's off. Looks really nicely done.
That was short.
And let's see if he descends again. Looks like he's safely airborne. Yeah, but again, we feel that gust going right now. I don't know if you can hear that, but that was good timing. Better be lucky than good, but he is both. Well done, John. All right. Oh, nice. Pull and close. Left traffic. Beautiful Andes in the background.
You can't beat that backdrop.
So as Bob Breeden was talking about last night, he's been flying here for the last 5 days or so and shipped his Carbon Cub down here, and he's going to be exploring the areas, and there's so much just unexplored, untouched geography down here. You know, he's familiar with untouched geography up in Alaska, but this, he said, is even more untouched. So,
yes,
if you can believe that. But,
and you know, I can, because of the amount of aviation. You know, Alaska, it's
so vast.
And there's so much of the community is using that as a form of transportation.
True.
and you just don't see that much down here. So
True. That's true. There's
everything's been combed through in Alaska, where down here, I think he might be right. Maybe no one's landed at a lot of the places he's going.
Living there, I heard in Alaska, I heard that there were 1 airplane for every 2 people in Alaska, where it's definitely not that ratio down here.
No, I can tell you, I'm impressed with the turnout at this fly-in and seeing how far everyone had to come.
I know.
Talking to KK, on any regular day here, the only people flying in and out are him and then the firefighting operation. There's no one else.
Wow.
So to get 45 planes here at a fly-in like this, it's incredible. And people came from so far.
Right. I'm looking across, I'm seeing a bunch of Vans RVs, beautiful RVs. I'm seeing a Cessna, looks like a 206. Of course, 180s, 185s.
We got a Facil, which is like Iran's S6 Coyote.
Okay.
But it's an Argentine version.
Okay.
So
I've seen a couple 170s down there.
Yeah.
Jughead will like that. A little name drop, Jughead. Hi, Jughead, if you're watching. We got a Technum. All right, here comes John Cwicki.
For reference, Steve was struggling with the
pronunciation. Oh, I was, huh? Apparently, we've swapped names. All right, here comes John Cwicki.
And again, it has gotten gusty with the heat of the afternoon. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's a little hard to hold this still.
Oh, a little bit of a west. But a balloon. That's okay. That's okay. Get on it. Get on it. He had a great first run. I think he gave up on the second, but.
Oh.
So he's just self scratch on that one, or?
They're like stop, and he's saying no.
Maybe he's just saving the brakes for the next competitor in that aircraft. Speaking of which, so nice job, John. We'll wait for your results.
He had 40 on his takeoff. The funny thing was, I wish he would have stayed there because this would have beat his last one because he was at the 70 mark.
Oh.
And he should have just stopped because it would have beaten his last score.
Mm-hmm.
He just wasn't happy with his touchdown because he floated past it. So
he punted, I think.
I wonder if they will score that or if they're just going to not give it to him.
I don't think so. He was turning around and. So what engine
is
that?
They did give it to him. So 40 and 70, 110. I think that's the new lead, isn't it?
Wow.
What was Tobias? He was 117?
Well,
I wish I could see.
Yeah, I was so concerned with him losing his engine on the first. That was pretty exciting. If you're just joining us, Tobias lost his engine on takeoff, luckily, and aborted the takeoff on his second attempt. He had a pretty good first run. But right now, John Cwicki at 110 meters. I believe he's the current lead in this Bush division.
I would say so too. I'm seeing Bob Breeden pushing out.
All right, that's
so this is who my money's on.
You're right. Trent's money's on Bob Breeden.
Yep.
I
think he's going to be in the 70 meter combined. Wow. Is my guess.
Okay.
He might do better. He might do worse.
So he's got the advantage of having flown here for modified. It is a carbon Cub.
Yep.
Let's see. It looks like Behringer wheels on 30. They're not 35s.
They are 35s.
They are 35s. Okay.
Yep. He's done a lot of other stuff too. He's got some maybe tweaks to the angle of incidence on his wings. He's got
VGs, of course.
VGs and very far forward. Great placement on the VGs.
Yeah,
and he's the guy that's done all the testing on this. The one that's actually gone out and figured out what
a man of my
works.
own heart. Test pilot. I love it. Cool.
So it's hard to say if he's jumping in or if KK is jumping in because he pushed out. And now
on our schedule, it looks like the next would be an Argentinian aircraft, Ronaldo van Domceller. Ronaldo van Domceller in a PA-18.
Would that be in KK's? I think KK is in there. So what we're seeing is KK is going to go up because his plane's still ready and hot and in position.
I see. Yep, he's strapping in. So KK Parody.
Now the weight is on, KK. You need to not let John beat you in your own plane. 110 is a pretty good number. It's going to be a hard one to beat.
In his own aircraft. Oh, boy. I don't know. I think KK could do it. Let's see what the wind is doing. The wind is picked up.
It's working in his
right
favor.
down. Yes, it is. It is now probably north of 10 knots, straight down the runway. So the wind is in KK's favor. They haven't fueled it up, so he's got a little bit less fuel, right?
Yep. The least amount of fuel of the three that have flown that.
Yep.
But man, what a shift. You think our first competitors were with a tailwind, or at least a quartering tailwind and just crosswind, and now going right down the runway.
Right. You know what? It's the home field advantage, though, right?
It is.
Yep. That's okay. I'm not mad at that. That's great. Good for KK. Good timing. I think he knew something. I think he knows something about the climatology, the microclimate of Trevelin, Chubut province, Argentina. There he is. Beautiful, majestic shot of KK taxiing out like he does probably almost every day here at his home airfield. All right. Into position.
And what was John's takeoff was 40 meters was his best one.
I think it was a 40 and a 60, right?
40 and a 70.
40 and a 70, that's right. 110. Yep.
Oof. But he does have a better headwind.
Let's see if he does. Okay, same technique. Lifts the tail. He's got no flaps in yet. Here he is off. Really nose down. And
it was a little early.
It's just a hair early, and he kind of was airborne. It skips off maybe a meter or two after.
Oh, and then he goes into the slip and smoke.
Yeah, see. He didn't tell John where the smoke switch was, so he's reducing his gross weight right now.
Yeah, he didn't tell me where the smoke switch is either. I've been flying that thing, and I didn't know what.
Yeah, or the horn, or anything like that.
I don't think he has a horn. He's got
the siren.
Megaphone.
Yeah.
He's got a light bar underneath it. That thing is tricked out.
Yep. All right, nice job, KK.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Looks short. It appears that they are standing at closer to the 30.
Oh, really?
It's hard to see from where we're at.
Yeah. Oh, 39.1.
Okay.
He just edges out John Cwicki for the takeoff. So it's up to the landing. And I tell you what, that wind has shifted to slight right crosswind. It's kind of back and forth.
It is gusty. That's not going to make this easier for him.
That is true.
But it is definitely favoring a headwind where it was not earlier.
I would agree. Estimated about 10. That's actually blown about 10, maybe gusting to 13 or so. KK now on left base for, what is that, runway 22?
And you can tell from his cockpit camera, it's not smooth.
Oh yeah, he's rocking and rolling.
Definitely getting blustery.
Yep, you can even see it from here now. All right, he's already slipping it in. Oh, there's a gust.
Oh yeah.
Working on his energy.
He's got quite a bit of a gust going on right now, so we'll have to see how that affects him.
Yeah, right quartering headwind.
With how gusty it is, it's hard to remain stable.
Oh,
and
look at this though.
Slow.
This looks good. Just hang on a little further. Didn't do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gustiness. He's going to be chasing it. Oh, short.
Short. Definitely short. He was trying for it. Oh. All right, good effort. That's challenging conditions for
very
sure.
Challenging, yeah.
Once again, a quick appreciation to all the amazing technology they have for the live stream, and Kike does a victory 180. No, he's just adjusting. I think
doing donuts.
He was just trying to get behind the line, I think. But yeah, live stream. We got Trent Palmer and Steve Cox here.
All the way in Patagonia. Have you been to Patagonia before?
I've never been to Patagonia. I've never been to Argentina. Never been to South America. So
really?
This is amazing.
You're an airline pilot. I thought you'd been everywhere.
Yeah, but I fly for Alaska Airlines, so
you don't go
we do some international, but light international.
Gotcha. All right,
here we go. Cwicki, Parody. Oh, look at that little dust tornado underneath his propeller. Propnado. Oh, you can see some debris. You can see that crosswind. Nice. Oh, he touched again. A little bit early. Gets into his characteristic slip. Is he going to turn on the smoke? Nope.
Looks like no smoke this time.
So, let's see. So he scratched on his first landing, so that rendered his first takeoff DQ, right?
Yes, his first run is out.
So this has to be it. So I think
it was still short.
It was short, but I don't think he's going to beat 39.1, which he did on the first run.
He's right in the same ballpark. Watching where they're.
You think so? I thought he kind of skipped off the ground and maybe. Oh, look at that beautiful shot. You can tell he's got a tailwind, not downwind, that's for sure. The winds have definitely picked up.
Yeah.
Looking at the windsock, ooh, it's turned less of a headwind and more of a right crosswind. 39.6. So that was short.
Yeah.
All right, well done.
Longer.
Well done. He's definitely... All right, so if he beats 70, then I think he might take the lead from John.
That is a fairly stiff crosswind.
It is.
This is going to be a handful for KK.
Right. You're going to see almost full plan form of the left side of his aircraft from where we're sitting on the left side of the runway, given that right crosswind.
And another thing to mention is the size of the trees that are on the upwind side of this are going to be creating a rotor.
Yep.
So he's going to have mechanical turbulence. And so...
Coming in at an angle, just crabbing into that right crosswind.
And watch as he drops to about tree level here. He's going to start
gonna
getting bounced around
beat up
pretty
a little
good.
bit. Yeah,
This is
it's
where he's
starting
gonna be
now. Yep.
chasing it.
All right.
You hear him even on the throttle modulating to account for the updrafts and downdrafts.
Yep, let's see, look at that. You can see a good portion of the left side of his aircraft crabbing into the wind. Come on, don't scratch. You gotta get one good one. And
it's clean.
It's clean?
Yep.
Get on the brakes. And with a little bit of a, not a ground loop, but there we go.
Right,
Yeah.
soft right brake.
Yeah. I wonder if it's that deflated right tire.
That one definitely beat John, I will say that.
Okay.
Because John was in the 70 mark up in front of us, and that was closer to 45.
Sure.
I want to say.
Which again, that there were maybe
might have been 40.
the headwind component I think was probably a little bit stronger on that, even though it was a strong right crosswind. There's still a little bit of a headwind component.
Absolutely. KK had to work for that one, and
He did.
He did well. 42.
There you go,
Combined of
KK.
81.6.
Woo! Very nicely into the lead for sure. If there's
Yeah.
any doubt, there's no doubt. But again, home field advantage for KK Parody down here in Patagonia, Trevelin.
Yeah. Now, the real question is,
Okay.
how can Bob Breeden translate all his skills from Alaska and all his time up there and all his
Yep.
competition time
And all his prep over the last week or so.
to the southern hemisphere?
Ooh. Does his prop turn a different direction down
Yeah,
here?
that's a good question.
I think it might. Is it left rudder down here?
Yeah. Everything is backwards.
All right, so Bob Breeden taxiing on in his Carbon Cub. Do you know, did he build this?
I believe he had it built. From what I know, I don't think Bob
Okay.
is as much of a builder as he is a pilot.
Adventure, yeah.
Yes, and he's got a couple, he's had many Cubs built. Or I should say built them. I don't know what he does himself, but he has built many Cubs.
He's also got a Skywagon down in Florida. He flies a lot of float. He's actually flies this Cub on floats quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it spent all summer on floats up in Alaska, and he toured it through the States and down to Florida.
That's right.
Prior to shipping it down here.
Yeah, he flew all along waterways and floated his way across the United States. Eventually showed us some pictures last night from Arizona, probably Utah, Snake River.
Yep.
We've flown Snake together there,
We
Hell's
have.
Canyon, yeah.
Yep. And so, yes, this plane, I know that Bob was a purist when it came to Piper PA-18s.
Uh-huh.
And then it sounds like Brad
what's-
from Cub Crafters said, hey, take the keys to this Carbon Cub. He flew it around in Canada for a few months. And then Bob reached out to Brad and said, okay, I need one.
Sold, huh?
Yep. And then he did all his stuff that he does to all the PA-18s to this Carbon Cub. And I think it's his little
It's his
golden ticket.
It's his super Carbon Cub,
It
shall we call it?
Yeah.
You don't happen to know the particulars. Let's see, does it have the 340 engine, as a lot of them do?
I believe so, but I don't
Okay.
actually know any of the particulars.
Okay.
I don't know what the empty weight is. I don't know really anything. But I do know he's
know
got
it's light.
quite a strong gust.
We know it's light. I see there's some weight along his on his tail wheel there.
Yes, that he had people out here melting down lead.
To build, yeah. All right, let's talk about the wind. Let's see, it's it's still right crosswind, quartering head to crosswind right now, about 13 knots or so. There he goes. Woo! Nice. Okay. Yeah.
It's in a different league.
It's a different league.
It's pretty hard for a standard Super Cub to compete with the Carbon Cubs. Just the power to weight, and you get someone like Bob behind the stick.
Oh, look at that shot right there. Beautiful.
And again, that silhouette, 35s on the Cub, just.
Yep. I think this will be a little bit quicker. He didn't even fly a full pattern. He pulled present position closed, as we called it in the military, about midfield left closed. So it's obviously an uncontrolled field. I don't know if that's obvious, but uncontrolled field, left pattern here. He's on downwind as we speak.
They call it initial.
Initial?
Initial is downwind.
Oh, okay.
Your initial.
That's interesting because in military, initial is upwind.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so that could be very confusing, at least in the U.S. military.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets bounced around as much. Unfortunately, we don't have the live view inside of Bob's cockpit just because to switch that camera apparatus takes a few minutes.
Look at that, 19.3 on takeoff. That's going to be hard to beat.
That's half.
Yeah, that is half. So this will be a very impressive landing, no doubt. Let's look at the windsock again. About 45 degrees right crosswind and about 13 knots or so. There is a few gusts, as you can tell, as Trent mentioned earlier, some mechanical turbulence, as well as there's some thermic activity over the vineyard and river over there. So that's cooler. That's going to be less of an updraft. There he's working into a right wing dip, countering that with, of course, rudder, power, and just absolutely taking his time.
Yeah, he has got that thing slow.
Right.
Any day now, Bob.
Yeah, he's showing off now.
Yeah, but he is working for him, man.
Okay, definitely across the line, gave up a little bit, but I don't think he cared too much. He just wanted a nice clean run, which he definitely had. And what are we looking at? About
we're getting an applause out here.
About 33 or so.
33, 34.
Wow.
That was, I mean, he is the clear leader at this point.
Yeah.
And I doubt we're going to see anyone contend with that. Man, those Behringer wheels and brakes, I don't know if you saw, he had them locked up. That was impressive with how...
I didn't even notice.
The size of 35s, they're hard to stop, and he had them completely skidding. Very impressive.
Yeah, so Trent, I just upgraded to 29 Alaska Bush wheel, 29 inch, and you said, hey, careful, you're not going to have the brake power that you used to have on your little 22s. Is that just a physics thing that I should study up on, or is there something?
Yeah, it's a longer lever. You got to think twisting on that axle. Yeah. You went from a, say, 11-inch lever up to 13-inch lever, so it's more leverage on those brakes. So bigger tires take more brake.
But of course, the trade-off's going to be more, more drag on final and lower pressure, so you can, chew up some more bigger rocks.
Yeah, the big thing is it extends runways, right? What was either an unusable runway or too short, you now can extend with those tires that you can roll over stuff you wouldn't have wanted to roll over.
Okay. Well, Alaska Gear Company is one of the sponsors of this event. They make the Alaskan Bush wheels as well as Cub Crafters and Garmin. Who else? YPF. Cato propellers, absolutely. Yep. Craig Cato is here himself. We've got YPF Aviacion. Rotax.
I saw Rotax. I saw Garmin.
Yep, I saw Garmin.
Bunch of awesome sponsors for an event
amazing.
like this, and it's really cool to see companies getting behind.
Oh, absolutely! I had no idea coming down here that it drew the attention of big sponsorships. So, well done, everybody.
He sets his idle very low. Do you notice how low that thing idles?
Yeah.
And that's what's helping him on those short landings, is that he can really pull it back to almost no thrust. He aims for 35 pounds of thrust.
Look at this.
Gold standard.
Wow.
At idle.
At idle.
And lower is better. That was short.
That was very short. Very short. Okay, you can tell we had a strong right crosswind on takeoff because our monitor it's like a 67-inch monitor just blew into our laps. But well done there, Bob.
Maybe it was Bob's thrust.
Yeah, it could have been. But forgot what we were talking about there, Trent Palmer.
Oh, there's a short takeoff, low idle RPM.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, yeah, my first adventure into the backcountry, but my idle was set too high, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't slow down. And it's obvious now, but just this, you think you're fine at 900 RPM static or 850 even, and then airborne you can't pull it below 1200. So that's something that I had to learn the hard way. Is you need to be able to pull that idle really, really low, to the point of probably shutting off the motor if you're just statically on the ground. But that's okay, because if you're just if the airflow is still spinning the prop and you're on short final, that's advantage.
Yep. 18.7 meters on that takeoff.
Wow. 18.7. Okay. All right. So let's talk. Okay. The wind is still quartering. It's a little bit more right crosswind than headwind now. So about 60 degrees.
See he's altered his final. Yep. He's not coming in lined up with the runway at all.
Right. That's
this
true.
This is one of the tricks that Bob has.
You can land kind of sideways, can't you?
He's like, I gotta land on the line. So the interesting thing will be to see if he turns at the end to line up with final, or if his roll's just so short
he could just
sideways.
Yeah. I mean, if these flags weren't in the way, I would think that but the sponsor flags are kind of lining the runway, so he doesn't want to hit those, of course. But just almost
so
silent,
slow and stable.
Yeah. His stick and rudders are moving.
Oh, you can see it. Look at his rudder. You can see everything.
Yeah.
He is working for this.
All right. So he wants to beat his last.
Wow.
Oh, that's a smooth or a legal touchdown. Past 30 might be.
That one was slightly longer than his last one.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit longer, but I think his takeoff might have been a lot shorter. So this will be very interesting. Well done. 2 clean runs from Bob Breeden in his Carbon Cub from Alaska, but he's brought it all the way down here.
And it sounds like Bob's going to spend the next few weeks really combing through the mountains out here
exploring.
And landing. Because apparently this province in Chubut is the only province that you can legally do this off-airport landing in.
Oh, okay.
So it's a new thing that KK has helped figure out. Yeah,
here we are.
Slightly longer.
Oh, so slightly longer, but his first run is one that scores 52.9. So let's see. Second round he had a shorter takeoff but longer landing. But
that was purely the wind. I can tell you, he was working for that.
Absolutely,
that was a tough one. Mm-hmm. So it appears that this is going to be it for the Bush class, the main class here at the STOL competition at the Trevelin Fly-In.
Yeah, let me see if there's any folks we didn't see on the list here. Not seeing anybody, so I'm not seeing anybody firing up. We'll just hang tight for a little bit just to confirm.
Yeah, because I know Tinti was going to possibly be flying, but I see his Cub over there, and I don't see anyone near it.
No activity.
So, no.
And then there was somebody else listed, Trent Palmer.
Oh, that's weird.
You were a scratch, huh?
Yep. That was did not start.
Did not start, okay. And then Gustavo Alder, I don't think we saw him participate yet. So we're just going to hang tight for just a minute or two till we get some clear direction on what's happening. But thanks again for tuning in live from Patagonia, the Patagonia Bush Pilots TV at Trevelin, Argentina in Patagonia.
Yes.
This is, honestly, the wind makes it more challenging. Oh, here we go. So Bob Breeden, there it is, as we suspected, 52.9 meters. Congratulations. And then KK, number 2.
I really wish Herman Moeller had a chance to do it with the wind. Because he had, again, almost a tailwind. Then it shifted to a headwind for KK, and Bob had challenging conditions, but it still was leaning as a headwind.
Mm-hmm. Now this round, Steph is a Chilean. Okay, so Chile is represented. And KK is rolling up on his e-bike now. But John Cwicki, well done. From Alaska, he got 4th place. Herman Mueller in 3rd. KK Parody, number 2. And then Bob Breeden, the winner of the Bush category, the STOL 2025 Patagonia in Trevelin. Once again, Steve Cox with Trent Palmer. Broadcasting live on, I think it's on YouTube, right?
We are.
YouTube?
On the Patagonia Bush Pilots YouTube.
You know something about YouTube, don't you? You ever go live on YouTube, Trent?
I am terrified of being live. I don't like being on camera, is the weirdest thing. So it's been an adjustment, but the only thing that makes me feel comfortable is I can edit it.
That's true.
Live,
I feel that.
We don't have that.
I feel that.
So, yeah.
Well, we're conquering our anxieties by being here live with you guys.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed our commentary.
Yeah.
Hopefully we added something to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I think, hey, what would Ryan Dombrowski say? So
yeah.
if you guys are watching, Ryan, Corey, Robin, if you guys are watching, much appreciated. This is hard to do, and but it's fun. It's fun to share this event with more people than could make it down here, because it was a long way down here, but well worth it.
And hopefully next year more of you guys come visit Patagonia, come check out this place.
Yes.
It's an amazing landscape, awesome aviation community. It's absolutely worth it.
Sure is. They've got a great tourism bureau, and the government is it's just a wonderful place to visit. We're just super appreciative, and the landscape. There's something going on across the ramp. There's some honking and whatnot going on, but
Yep.
But yeah, I think we're getting the cut. So thanks everybody for joining us. We'll sign it off. Steve Cox, Trent Palmer, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. Good times, dude.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, thanks for including me.
Hell yeah.